All right, here we are at the middle U.S. Champs 2023. This is at Carter Cave State Resort Park, hosted by Orienteering Cincinnati. I'm running M65. I'm 69 years old. I finished fifth again. I'm going to have some complaints about course setting and map, so if you don't want to hear that stuff, maybe you shouldn't watch this video. Anyway, this is the middle, which was on the Sunday. Here's your first leg. Yeah, so we went all the way down to the bottom to start on the map. Why not start higher up so there's not so much climb? There was 6% climb on this course, which is a lot for a middle. First leg is, not terribly difficult. I chose just to go down to the stream and run along there. It's much greener on the middle than on the long, which was on the previous day. And a lot of the controls were, of course, in the green. Here's your number one. We're not going to show the leg to number two because it's so short. No point in going up to the trail. Just bash your way through the green till you find the appropriate ditch. Here's your number three. Take a look at that. Yeah, there is a nice trail there. So I went up to the trail, down the trail. Waited until the appropriate time to jump off the trail, which was just after I passed these boulder things. And here's my first complaint about the course setting is none of these cliffs, well, maybe one of the cliffs on my description sheet had a height. None of these others did, so I don't know what height I'm looking for. And it was physically very difficult to get in this one because it's in between two cliffs. Yeah, finally I get down in there. Here's your number four. And this is also a description cliff, but no height indication. And there's a trail there that I could get on. Hey, that guy's going down the trail. But not me. I just go right for it, across the stream on the boulders. Probably would have been faster to go up and down the trail. And then straight up the other side. Things are a little tight in here with these three turning controls. But yeah, my description says westernmost cliff, north end. So I'm coming up here and I'm looking for a cliff. And there are some little black lines on my map. Once again, I think that's probably a non-standard symbol. It's such a small black line. That should be listed on the map somewhere, but it's not. So yeah, I bash my way up, go across the spur, go past the depression, I come right out at it, and I actually look at it and say, you know, I'm looking for a cliff and that's a pit. So I keep going because it looked exactly like a pit. It looked like every other rocky pit on this spur. Why they chose to map that particular one as facing cliffs, I don't know. But if I had some indication of how high the cliff was, I might could have made sense out of it. But there's nothing on the descriptions, and it should have been mapped as a rocky pit and not a cliff. All right, here's your number 5. And there's a lot of stuff out here on this spur, which is probably why they ran us over here, even though it's very green in places. And your number 6. And once again, this is a cliff. And the description says southeastern cliff foot. No indication of height. And with my old eyes, I can't see that cliff's in a reentrant. I come across here, looking for a cliff, of course. See some rocky pits. I see a reentrant. Oh, that's a reentrant. That's not my control. Other people standing around looking for it. So I go right past it and decide that, you know, maybe that control back there was mine after all. Turn around and go back. Eventually. And yes, that control that I saw down in the reentrant was mine. Yeah, if only the description had a height, I might could have figured that out a lot quicker. But they left that off. Here's your number 7. And once again, this is an X in the description and an X on the map. And nowhere on the map does it say what the X is supposed to be. Yeah, non-standard symbol. They should have that on the description somewhere or in a legend or something. They do actually have a height, 1.5 meters. Like that's going to help. So I bash my way through all the green. I come down into the reentrant. And I see a ruin off to the side. Okay, well, that's not me. I'm looking for a black X. Yeah. Once again, here's your number 8. And my complaint about this one, other than the fact that it's very green over in here, is constantly bashing our way through. Not much fun on a middle course to have so much green. Is that there are other old road beds up in here. You see there's one mapped there above the control. Well, there's also one down further that leads right into the control. Not mapped. Didn't really throw me off, but you know, when you come out on it, there I am standing right on it. And it's not mapped. All right, here's your number 9. This is probably the worst green on this area of the map. Why pick that control over in the green? And for once, they give you the height of the cliff. Why give you the height of this cliff and not all the other cliffs? That's very inconsistent. They say 1 meter. Okay. Why didn't they give me the height of number 6 or number 4? Yeah, it's just too thick in here. The only thing that helped me, that guy didn't help me. The only thing that helped me was the fact there was some wet ground over there. And it looked to me like a blue line coming out of the cliff. Very tiny blue line. After falling in it, I went over there and punched. There's your number 10. Yeah, it's time to climb. 6% climb on this course, which is a lot for a middle. And it's a long way up this hill, or at least it seemed like a long way. There's nothing very tricky about this one other than you don't want to go too far. And you don't want to stop too soon. Looking at that reentrant type thing off to my right. No, that's not mine. I got to go much, much higher. And I know that. I just don't want to do it. Oh yeah, trudging up the hill. Number 11. You know that sinking feeling when you think, well, I'm not to the top of the hill yet. I've got another 5 contours to go. And there's nothing particularly odd about this one either. Crossing the big trail. Trying not to miss any trails today, like I did the previous day. At least I gave you a height on that one. Here's your number 12. And there's nothing particularly difficult about this either. As long as you hit the right reentrant ditch thing. Not the one I'm passing right now, the next one. So it was deep up in, or green up in here again. Okay, you're number 13. More climbing. And really, I'm just trying to find the best place where I can actually do some running. I haven't done hardly any running this course so far. It's just been bashing things and going uphill, and yeah, not much fun. But going down across this spur, I could actually run a little bit. But then it's time to go back up again. I got thrown off by that pit to the right, which didn't look like it was mapped correctly. Oh, I fell. Yeah, so there's a string of 3 of these. One of them's rocky, and that's the one I'm looking for. So I find the first one, so then it's easy just to go down to the rocky one. All right, here's 14 to the end. And we'll just do this whole thing without stopping. I originally thought, you know, I'll try to stay a little high and hit that trail. But I kept being knocked lower for whatever reason, falling downhill, I guess. And before I started, I sat at the finish and watched people come out of the woods, and they almost invariably went the same way I did. They may have been hoping to go higher, but they all seemed to come out lower. I almost made it up to that trail, but I didn't. I did see that big gully. Go down beside it. Bash my way up the other side. And although I guess the GPS shows me very close to the trail, I don't think I even saw it. Because at this point I could see the finish area, the road. And here again, it would have been nice to have a height on this cliff. It just says cliff, along with that little tiny cliff symbol. And then it's just a sprint to the end at this point. All right, yeah, so I had a lot of complaints here about the mapping things as cliffs that should have been pits. Complaints about running through all that green. Complaints about the descriptions, which were incomplete. The cliffs should have had height. So I finished fifth. The times were not that great. Over 15 minutes per kilometer. Yep. And my highest heart rate was 172. I averaged 150, which is exactly my maximum heart rate. Oh, God. Yep. So there's your report. Thanks for watching.